Hey guys, it's me, your pal, Sparrow Cripple. Cameraman, pan down. This is my iWalk 2.0. Look, I'm a fucking pirate. Alright, so, beyond being a pirate, today, I'm gonna show you how to turn EBT into liquor. Now, we're gonna make kitchen hooch. Because we're still waiting on bugs. I bought a shitload of bugs, so if you hold out, and you like, comment, and subscribe, we'll have tarantulas and other disgusting shit that I'll eat for the channel. And that's much more amusing than tutorials and weightlifting. Now, what you'll need for this is 3.5 cups of sugar, a container with which to pour your liquor. You will boil some water. The best way to do this is to fill up your container, and just so you have the right amount of water. Now you're going to get some boil off, but you don't want the bottle totally full anyways, because you need some room for air and gases and whatnot to circulate, and you're going to use yeast as the, thing that will cause it to turn into alcohol, ferment. And you need to be sure that that yeast has enough room to move and be safe and blah blah and whatever. So we're going to pour this into our giant metal pot. And once that's done, I'll show you how to do the bottle after this. Alright, so now that our water is boiling, you're going to take 3.5 cups of sugar. Well, assuming your bottle is not clean, this is a super dangerous way to do this. I do not suggest doing this if you're at all clumsy, which I am, but I'm going to do it anyways. You take your funnel, you take your extremely fucking hot boiling water. Again, don't do this if you're not sure you can do it. And it's probably unsafe, probably this is chemicals in the plastic, but you're making kitchen hooch, so chemicals shouldn't be your, big concern. It's probably what you're going to be drinking. So you're going to pour this in, do it very slowly, it bubbles like crazy. Do the heat, and this will boil the bottle. You're supposed to boil everything involved. It'll boil the bottle, essentially boil the funnel, and clean all the bacteria out of it, which is what you want done. You need to do this because the bacteria will kill the yeast. Any bacteria at all will kill the yeast. Set that there. Alright, now that that's done, we're going to pour this back, and just to give you an idea of how hot this is, you can listen to the noise it makes when I pour it back in. Oh, it's not. It's quite spicy. But, okay, so the next step, next step, once you've boiled everything and you're super quick, cutting steps away like I have, you then want to get 3.5 cups of sugar, it's about a little under 2. That's almost a big mess. Alright. What do we got there? That's about 1. Alright, that's about good. So you take 3.5 cups of sugar. You pour it in here. And you have these. Stir it with whatever the fuck, doesn't really matter. You just need it to dissolve. Once it's dissolved and spoiling, you'll take this, and I'm going to put it in the fridge. Yet again, another thing, I don't know if I recommend that. You don't want to burn yourself or fuck your fridge up. But that's what I'm going to do. And you want to bring it down to lukewarm, maybe sort of hot temperature, because anything hotter than that will kill the yeast. And we're trying to get drunk and not have a bottle of dead yeast. Alright, next you can either use warm tap water from the sink, or just use, once your water's cool enough, after you let it sit for a bit, a little bit of the sugar water itself. and get about a cup, and take your yeast and pour it in there. Now when you pour the yeast into the bottle, in a minute, do not use the funnel. I learned that the hard way and had to reshoot this entire video last night. It sticks in the funnel. I've never had to do that, but it will do it apparently if you do it too quick. So you take your yeast, it's just regular dry active yeast. Do not use instant. Instant will make it extremely bitter. Use regular yeast. You can get if you want to make a shitload of this liquor, you can actually get like a mid-sized glass bottle of this that will last you, shit, I filled a whole fridge of this with this liquor. I mean a whole fridge a couple summers ago, well, about 4 or 5 years ago. Alright, so you put it in there in about warm to lukewarm water, let it activate, which basically consists of it sitting there until it starts to blob like crazy. Then you'll pour that into the bottle. In the meantime, we'll fill this bottle up with what we've got. Like so. And like I said, you want to leave some room for air, so this may be too much liquid. We'll see in a second. I doubt very much it's too much. Probably just the right amount of liquid. Oh, no, it's a little bit too much because you got to get that cup in and the yeast is going to bubble and you need some room for gases and whatnot, like I said. So we're going to be a little conservative and we're going to pour out a bit more than it needs. Now some people like to put in juice beforehand, but you really do not need to flavor this. It itself is not an entirely unpalatable flavor. It's a strong flavor, but it's kind of a sickly sweet flavor like an ale. You don't need to pick a juice with flavor. I actually wouldn't. It usually turns out really disgusting when you do it. This makes a softer taste and a better all-over end product. So don't pick a flavor. You wait until the end to pick a flavor, and all you need to do is pick a single thing of Kool-Aid, any color you want, put that in when it's totally done. I'll tell you the end process in the next part. You'll pick the Kool-Aid, put that in, put in maybe another cup of sugar for taste, and you got your flavor. Alright, so next we're going to wait, like I said, until this is active. It's getting there. It takes about 4 or 5 minutes to sit in there. It'll rise almost like bread, and there'll be like a bubble. Alright, so now that the yeast has risen, if you want to take a look, it looks like that. It's got like a bready membrane on it. It sits a little high. And it's a little like more rounded. You could wait a little longer if you wanted to, but it's fine like this. It just needs to go into the cup. I think that was the best way to do it quick. Alright, so I did use a funnel because I think it would be hard to not. I think the yeast is fine. It should be okay. Alright, so the next step is you're going to want a balloon. You're going to take your balloon. You're going to stick a needle all the way through both sides about 5 to 7 times. And what this is going to do is you will put it over the top of your container, and once the yeast starts fermenting, it will fill the balloon up with air, and the holes will allow out some of the yeast gas, and whatnot, but it won't allow oxygen in, because oxygen will, see how that stands like that? It'll fill up about like that, and it'll stay up, and while it's up like that, it means that gases are getting out, it's filling, but once it starts coming down like about like that, it's about done, and when it's about like that, it's done. It's time to strain your mixture. Also, another thing you can do is you can take about 2 or 3 raisins and put them in so the yeast has something to eat while it ferments. Another fun thing is these will rehydrate and become ugly little grapes that will float to the top of your drink. So after you get this done, and you get the balloon on, you got your holes in it, everything's ready to go and whatnot, you will then take your kitchen hooch container and you will put it in a cool, dry place. Nothing too hot, nothing exposed to sun, because sun will ruin and or bitter the drink. It's just like real wine, making that. Once that's done, after it deflates, you will end up with an end product that looks something like this. The end product will have a layer of dead yeast on the bottom. I don't know if you can see that well because we've strained this a couple times. You will strain this out. You will do that like so. Alright, so you'll go get cheesecloth at Walmart. You get that for $3 or $4. It's a thick cloth. You can strain things through. You can do this one of two ways. You can either use cheesecloth, and you can do that one of two ways. You can either do the way I do, which is you put it over it, you cut it to the size of the lid, put it over it, and squeeze it out like this, and try to be somewhat quick, but not too quick because you don't want to disturb the yeast off the bottom. The whole point is to get rid of the yeast. If you do it this way, you'll have to let it sit a few hours, and you'll have to do this process probably 8 to 10 times to get a fairly clear liquid that has a good drinkability and won't hurt your stomach too much. This shit will rot your stomach like a motherfucker. It'll eat a hole in your stomach. You know, there's a reason they call drinks like this gut rot. So once you've done that, you will rinse the bottle and you will pour this shit back into it and let it sit. The best way after you've rinsed it to make sure the cap doesn't burst off or anything like that is put it on loosely and put it back wherever you had it. You'll do that a few times, and then once you've got a clear liquid, you will flavor it and put about another cup of sugar or whatever to taste. You put a fucking pound of sugar in it if that's what you want. And your flavoring, we did a black cherry on this one, and as you can tell there's no yeast in the bottom. It's black cherry. I'll have a little sip on camera so you can see what it tastes like. As long as you drink it slow, it's kind of like wine again. If you pour it in a cup and let air get at it, it softens the taste. It's pretty drinkable. It's really not a bad drink. You know? Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Like I said, I have some bugs coming in the mail, so next you're going to see me eat tarantulas and stink bugs and all kinds of gross-ass shit like that because I need attention. And, you know, that's how you turn EBT into wine. Get your drunk on, fuckers.